So here I am once again with a weekly review of Katsugeki Touken Ranbu, and once again I am pleased with the animation, the visuals, the character design, just everything. My God, Ufotable knows how to please their audience. My God. Now, going from episode 1, knowing that the Retrograde Army is now came to the past and they were heading to the castle. We have where the team with Kanesada and Horikawa and also the rest of the Sword Warriors as well as the Seniwa has come down to the pass to help them defeat the Retrograde Army. Now, they didn't know specifically why they headed to that castle and for what reason, because when they were doing their research, looking up what specifically was the reason for the Retrograde Army coming in that specific time, what their reasons were for to change history, there was no actual historical person that they were going to assassinate. So they were kind of confused as to why they were there, but they came to find out that later that day, just before sunset, they were going to strike again. Also, we have where the Saniwa has announced that Kane-san was the captain of the second unit. So that means there is a first unit and a third unit. Hopefully we get to see more characters from the Touken Ranbu franchise. And we actually got the characters' names in this episode, those who came in from last week's episode. So we have Tombokuri, who's part of the 3 legendary spares. We have Mutsuno Kami, who his personality is like he's reckless. Like, he is so all over the place. He has like a jovial type of personality, and he's loud, boisterous, but also someone who is, you know, very proud of who his master was. And they're all swords who were forged from historical people or from historical households that build these weapons. And then we had Yagi and Toshiro, who seems pretty distant and cold. So now all 5 of these sword warriors have to work together as a unit now. But as we clearly saw in the opening, there is one more to be introduced. He's dressed in all white, so I don't know when they're going to introduce us to him. Of course I know his name because I'm now recently playing the game. It is hard and it takes effort. Okay, it takes effort to play the game, but also for the fact that I saw Hanamaru, so I know his name. And for those who don't know, I'm not going to spoil his name as of yet till they actually finally introduce him. So these 5 characters are now a unit, and they must work together with Kane-san as the captain. So while they're all trying to get associated with each other, remember the steamboat that showed in episode 1 was actually the main focus point later in this episode. So when they were looking up the reason as to what was really the reason why the Retrograde Army came in that timeline, they came to find out that there were people within, you know, the office, like the higher ups, who were xenophobic, or people who has a fear of people from other countries, and they were arrested. And then the Dutch steamboat was about to go out for sale. So we have where Mutsuno Kami and Tombokuri decided to go see the steamboat, and they were reminiscing back on their masters and also the time that Tombokuri came from, the warring time period, and comparing the boats and everything. And we come to find out the actual reason as why the Time Retrograde Army came to this specific time, and that's to actually start a war. Now, there was like a fire that burned down houses and everything, and when you link everything up together with the xenophobic officials that were arrested, and then the Dutch steamboat, what they wanted to do was, if anyhow, say the ship was damaged and innocent foreigners who came to visit Japan for possibly business reasons got caught in that explosion, got caught in the incident, then it will cause both sides to get angry at each other, because one, you didn't take proper maintenance of the boat, and then you came into our country, we didn't want you into our country. So what they're trying to do is cause Japan and whichever foreign country came to with the Dutch steamboat that came into Japan to start butting heads, and then it'll cause both sides to actually go at war with each other. So that was the whole reason, that was their mission for coming back in this specific timeline. And unfortunately there was an explosion that happened on the Dutch steamboat, so everybody's now, the second unit is rushing to get to the scene in order to stop the time retrograde from even doing more damage. Also, there was a term that was used twice in this episode called the historical restraining force, and basically it's a power that even if some change has happened and they had no part in it, like where they saw the burn houses and actually it burned more than it actually should, that historical restraining force, it has the power to actually fix back the time as it properly should be, so it doesn't change anything hundreds or thousand years later down the timeline. So but if something huge does happen, then that power is practically useless. So that was really much it for this second episode, and now we're going to see, hopefully the second unit is able to stop the Time Retrograde Army from starting basically a war between two countries that could change what the future may entail. And once again, like I said, you for the table, you done an outstanding job with this episode, my god. So if you guys saw this week's episode of Katsugeki Touken Ranbu, do leave a comment down below on how you felt about this week's episode, and if you play the game, is it this tasking, like you have to constantly be on it daily to ensure you get swords and everything? I have to ask that question. It seems like it's a lot of work to play in this game. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.